everybody. Here's the snacks you're missing at home. Party mix, yay, and fruit. Here's our audience.
Never mind, I'm not going to say it.
Never mind.
Okay, Lincoln, we're ready.
What are we ready for? My TED Talk. What's up, y'all? Everybody here knows me. I don't know who's in the Facebook world, but I'm Lincoln Walters. I'm the team leader out here at Apex Property Group at True North. Today we're going to talk a bit about wire fraud, why it's bad, and how you can do your best to prevent it, to protect yourself and your clients and everybody else involved. So, pretty much wire fraud is like the biggest battle the real estate industry has at the moment, besides just normal client stuff and battling with counter offers and just the craziness that has entailed the last year. Wire fraud is really the huge issue. They don't have numbers for 2020 yet. I tried to pull them up. They don't have those out yet, but in 2019, there was over 12,000 cases of wire fraud reported to the FBI, and it accumulated over $221 million in losses, which is kind of insane. There was like 11,000 cases in 2019 to the tune of 150 million, and they're saying, like I said, they don't have reports out yet.
Give me one, please.
But apparently, when national crises happen, such as the COVID pandemic and stuff that we've been dealing with last year and this year, those numbers always go up substantially. So if we're at 221 million in 2019, they're projecting possibly even 100 million more from that. But those numbers are now. And they get that from, so like in the U.S. last year, there was between 5.5 and 6 million real estate transactions. So basically, it comes down to essentially every 450 transactions, there's some type of wire fraud in it, or an attempt at it. It might not be successful, but there's at least one out of every 450, somebody gets hit, which is kind of a big number. Like last year's our first year, we closed 265 units as an office. As a nation, 450, there's going to be at least one wire fraud in that. So we're just our office alone is close to that. And in the Tri-Cities, there's definitely a few every year. So it's something that we definitely need to take into account and be mindful of. The people that are doing it are, I don't know, you guys, I'm sure everybody's gotten the emails from like the Nigerian prince and things like that, and scammers that you can just right off the bat tell it's a scam. And these are technically some of the same people doing it from what the FBI's found. They're just getting a little bit smarter with it. What they're doing is basically folks in primarily they're Western African and Nigerian-based scammers, and they partner with hacker groups, the computer guys in India and Pakistan. And so those guys are doing phishing scams. That's all those emails you get just trying to hack you. And they're searching out brokers, agents, title companies, your consumers. They're finding all their email addresses, getting into the emails. And once they get the info they need, they send it back to the Western Africa and the Nigerian guys, because they've got all the accounts set up over there to wire it to. And they start going back and forth, and that's how they kind of get into the scam. As real estate agents, we're the biggest target. Title companies are also a huge target. They do go after the consumers as well. But yeah, it's just once they get your email, and if they are to get a scam through to your clients and get that money wired outside of the country, you're screwed at that point, because we don't have any jurisdiction. Once it leaves the country, FBI can't do anything. That money's gone. So basically, the best thing we can do is educate ourselves as best as we can and educate our clients and everybody that's involved with the transaction. The potential for the fraud starts basically at the very beginning of the transaction, specifically at a listing. As soon as you list a property, it's now disseminated on the internet, and then the scammers know there's a home, they know there's an address, they know there's a buyer, they know there's a seller, they know there's a real estate agent, and they can find fairly easily all those people's information. It's not too hard to do. Pretty much the best practice to combat this is to hit your people right at the beginning. We've got a form for it that I printed off for all you guys. It'll pass out. But it basically just says, here's everybody involved in the transaction. We've got the buyer's agent, seller's agent, title company, the attorney, the lender. We'll list all their numbers on there. And if you get a call or an email or a text from anybody talking about wiring funds, it gives you the directions to what to do. So basically, if you get an email with wiring instructions, you call at least one of the numbers that we've got listed. So call your agent, call your lender, call your title company, just make sure it's the right person. And you definitely want to call the number that you have for those people personally. So if you get an email from one of these scammers, they'll have it set up to look like one of our email addresses or one of the title company's email addresses, and it'll look fairly legit. If you're used to seeing emails from these companies, you'll notice red flags, but a lot of times they'll make it like somebody that you're familiar with's name at X title company at gmail.com or something. If it's Gmail or Yahoo or anything like that, that's not a title company. They've all got their own secure email platforms. It's not going to say Gmail. So that's a big red flag. But yeah, if you get anything from them as far as emails, you just call, verify it with at least one or two of us. Same with the text message. If you get a phone call from a scammer, it's usually pretty easy to tell it's a scammer because they sound like they're about to sell you an extended car warranty. But if you get a call, you can usually shut them down right at the beginning and just tell them you're going to hang up and you're going to try the fraud prevention plan. And if you mention fraud at all, they're gone. So, pretty easy. But you got to do it because I mean, if you get involved with this, say you were to, like if the agent himself, if I was to get an email from one of these frauds and I didn't realize it myself, and I forwarded that email with the wiring instructions to my clients, and those clients then wired those funds to the fraudulent account, and that money goes away, it's gone against our office guidelines, Tennessee guidelines, all kinds of guidelines as far as how we're supposed to operate, because we're, as real estate agents, we do not send or steer the wiring directions to anybody. If a title company, most title companies aren't going to send them to you anyways as an agent. But if that happens to happen and you have wiring instructions, don't touch that email. Don't send it to your clients, don't do anything, because it's not our business to do that. That's between the title company, closing company, the lawyers, whatever. The way the E&O insurance works, if a fraudulent transaction goes through and it's been steered by the real estate agent, for example, if I got that email, thought it was legit, sent it to my client wires the funds, and the funds go to a Nigerian prince. E&O insurance says you've broken company and state policy, we're not covering it. So you're by the law right now is you can be responsible for up to 85% of it. So like if your folks wired $100,000 and it's gone, they can come at you for $85,000, which most of us don't have laying around. So you've got to be super careful. Another good way to combat this, which is pretty easy, is using simple protection on your emails, like two-step verification, multi-factor authentication in your emails. Every server has it. Gmail has it. You go to your settings. You'll see multi-factor authentication, and what it is if somebody, even if yourself, logs in from a different computer or a different phone or tablet or whatever, it'll alert your account. It'll send you a message. Mine sends me a text message and says, "Hey, did you just try to log in from a computer in Johnson City?" And if you weren't the one that does that, you can just click no, and it shuts that down and it blocks them. And it's a very simple thing. Like I said, you can set it up super easy. But those guys, if you don't have that, and they figure out your password, or however they hack in, I don't know how to hack, but
You are the tech guy, bro.
I don't know how to hack. No, but if they do end up getting into your emails, what they'll do is they can go into the settings and change forwarding rules, which will allow them to take over the email. So, for example, if I was to get an email from like Classic Title, and they've been watching my email chain, and they've seen it over the past weeks, and they see, oh, we're coming down to a closing, then they'll go in there and they'll set a forwarding account to take the emails from Classic Title, send them to a different folder, and then automatically, you're not looking at that folder because you didn't set it up, and they've got it automatically read, so you don't even see those emails come through. They're in a separate folder, your phone doesn't get alerted or anything, and they are able to interject themselves as the agent in between those accounts, and that's the main way those guys are doing it. So the main thing is just to always be, mindful, be in contact with your title companies, with your clients, let them all know, if you have anything with wiring instructions, to confirm it with somebody on the phone. Don't call the phone number from an email. If you get an email, call the number that we've given you, or Google the number, because those guys aren't going to be in the Google.
When in doubt, give Lincoln a shout.
Well, that's the gist of it, though. There's not really like a magic silver bullet to stop it. There's steps we can take to help minimize it. They're always going to be there, especially with watch your elderly folks a lot.
Easy to take advantage of.
Yeah, super easy to take advantage of. They're not internet savvy. They won't notice those little differences in the email signatures and stuff. Yeah, just secure your systems and take care of your clients, and that way we won't get sued, and everybody will be happy.
Boo to sue.
And the Nigerian prince will keep his money.
Well, even this year, we all got the text in the office about Joey needing that gift card.
Yeah. It's another type of scam. And that one came from, I guess, I don't know if they got all of our numbers from maybe Netar, or if they got them off like Zillow or Realtor.com or something like that. But pretty much all of us in the office got it, didn't we?
Yeah.
Pretty much all of our agents that had listings, I think,
We
got a text message saying they were projecting themselves as our broker. And what was it they needed us to come?
I need to run some
They
errands.
needed us to run errands for
Yeah,
or
he
something.
needed a closing gift because he was in an important
Yeah,
meeting.
needed a closing gift. And it's a random phone number, but it has
And
our
I was
broker's
like,
name,
sitting
so
next
it's
to
like,
Joey. I was like,
you kind of think it's legit, but we
Oh
all
my
have his
God.
numbers. If you get anything like that, obviously,
"You got the gift card."
especially if it's about your broker, an agent, any of your agents that you know, just call them. Be like, hey man,
Yeah.
this was a different number. Did you send this? What's the deal? Because Joey might need a gift card. But he did not in that situation.
Picking up the phone clears up a lot of things.
Yeah. It's as simple as a phone call. Always back any emails, texts, anything like that. Just make a phone call to a number that you know is legit, and you know the person on the other end. If you get an email or a call from somebody and they say, this is blah blah blah.
This is Roger from.
Hello, I'm
Joey. Roger at X title company. Say, hang on, Roger, I'll call you back. Google that title company's number and say, hey, is Roger there? And they'll probably be like, no,
We don't know.
we don't have a Roger.
Roger that.
Then you can call the Nigerian prince back and harass them for the rest of the evening if you have time.
Dustin, it's me.
But yeah, use this thing. I like to put these in listing packets. Just right at the beginning. That way, everybody has everybody's information.
I was getting ready to ask that.
You can do it with buyers as well.
And I like how it,
I came here for voter fraud.
and I like how it says you can take a picture of these numbers,
Yeah.
you know, with your phone so you'd have them on hand.
Yeah, it's a big issue. I mean, 221 million in 2019, so we're probably looking at, they're saying probably over 300 million in 2020. So it's not a good thing, and it has been. It's happened locally.
Yeah, it happened
There's
to HMKW.
yeah, there's 3 here that I know of personally, and there's probably more than that here just in the Tri-Cities that have happened, and the money is gone. It didn't just attempt it; it's gone.
Yeah,
People, I mean, that's not a little thing. We're dealing with folks that are making the biggest purchase of their lives normally, and you know, if their down payments all of a sudden gone that they spent their life savings on, those people are done for the most part. So it's up to us to protect them. As real estate professionals, we need to be on the ball and make sure that doesn't happen. That's pretty much all I got for y'all.
Thank you so much, Mr. Lincoln Walton.
for
Thank
coming
you,
to my
Lincoln.
talk.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm gonna put a copy of this, guys. Yay!
Yeah, I've got those that I can email to folks, or I'll email you ones that you
Yeah,
can
I'll email it to you, and I'll put a hard copy in everybody's mailbox. So I think it's a great idea to put it with every listing packet.
I deal with that all